Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vacosties here with Skyrim Modded Let's Play, episode number 8. Oh boy. Shut up, Tovar. Alright, so this is just a little quick thing, and this is about one of the mods specifically. The next one I will be heading out of Whiterun to begin exploration, but I wanted to show you Dovahkiin's hideout. This is one of the mods I have, and we're here down in the Jorvaskar, or the Jorvaskar, or however you want to pronounce it. And the Dovahkiin's hideout is a location that is linked to every house you own and every guild or faction or whatever you want to call them that you are a part of. And if we go inside, we find a house already made with lots of storage space for us. So we're going to go check this out. I really like this because you can do it without spending any money, and it gives you a place very early game that you can store a ton of stuff really well organized without having to deal with, gathering up lots of money. Obviously, it's not for your first playthrough on the game, but after your first playthrough, you've already done the game the right way, gotten the money, bought the houses, yada yada yada. So after that first playthrough, this is a lot of fun to just have a place to work with. I mean, buying the houses and all is still fun later on, but it's not something you have to do right away. So as you can see, this takes me back to the Dravoscar living quarters here, and you've got doors in this room to pretty much everywhere. You've got the Archmage quarters, the Ragged Flagon. You've got Breeze Home, Honeyside Estate, Vindrel Hall, Hegerm, Proudspire Manor. So it goes everywhere that you can go. You have a chest here, right in the entryway, that lets you store anything you need to store. But you have much more than that. You have a hallway here, nicely set up. You've got some weapon plaques on the walls. You've got the awesome little display cases here where you can put some of your more interesting shinies. And if we take this first left-hand turn here as I go racing around to show you the different things. Oh yeah, up here you've got a bookshelf. This is an actual fully working bookshelf that has decorations on it, which is kind of neat. The decorations are not removable, so the statue and the drum and lute there actually, they're the bookends for the shelf. And since I've got some books in my inventory, we're actually going to utilize that. Let's see here. Now let's go ahead. I think that's one I actually have to read, but let's go ahead and get some of these other ones put in there. There's that one. We'll keep those. We'll store. Let's see. A Battle of Sanctor. First 2 volumes of that. Yeah, basically just going to store some of our more interesting pickups. You'll notice I'm keeping things like the Forsworn Threat. These are because those guys are ones that we actually need to be able to do various types of smithing. And I can't remember what... Oh, I didn't actually want to store that yet. What one is Arvel's journal? Before I store it, I want to make sure it's not something I need to keep on me. Oh, okay, that's the Golden Claw, so we can store that one. And then, let's see here. Which one was a New Beginning? Okay, New Beginning is actually an interesting item. New Beginning lets you utilize that character creation mod that we did at the very beginning of our walkthroughs or Let's Plays, and it lets you redo your character creation. So if you decide you want to play a different styled character, you can. So there we go. There's some books up on the shelf, which... Ah, there it goes. It has to redo it because it does a sort to make sure they're all going to stack properly. And you can read them right off of the shelf and just leave them there. Or you can then activate it and store however more you can. So let's continue on our little tour here. You take a left-hand turn. You've got a deer head looking down at you. And to the left, we have this room here. And in here you have a little bedroom, complete with a desk and a little jewelry box for storing your gems and such. So we're going to make use of that. And we're going to stash away all of our precious stones. Here we go. Some fluorite. Garnet, rose quartz, ruby. There we go. And if we've got any jewelry, we're going to store that away as well. There we go. Awesome. And you've got a little wardrobe here. You've got a bed with a side table, a chest. You have these bookshelves. Now these guys are display shelves. You can't actually store books in them, at least not without a lot of work. But it would be a place for you to store interesting things you've picked up because you can move them using your pick up and move and then put them on shelves. Couple weapon racks, which are always fun, which I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to equip that axe of Whiterun that we were given. There it is. There we go. Now we've got that stored there as a little trophy. You've got a statue of Dovahkiin, which you can use for money or just leave it for decoration. A little safe there. Let's see. And here in this end table chest, I'm actually going to use this. I'll pick up the 6 gold. But I'm going to use this for my smithing stuff, because where I am going to be going out into the countryside next, we're going to want a place to store all of our forge type stuff just to cut down on our weight, in some cases by a lot, like the dragon bone. So let's just go ahead and... Oh, actually, I'll probably want to keep that, won't I? Store away all the various bits and pieces that we use for crafting things. Awesome. Well, let's see here. I will pick up those soul gems again, actually. Alright. So, let's see. Now you see I've got my inventory weight down to 111, so that's a good thing. Make sure I don't have anything else in here. A couple things there I'm probably going to sell off. But for now, I think we're actually going to put them in here just because they can be used to make enhancements later on. So, just to show off some of that later on down the line. There we go. So now, let's see. Okay, so we've got some cool statuary here. A nice little display thing. Nice little fire with a woodcutter's axe for chopping wood. It's a nice little place. Oh, maybe not so little. And then if we go into this little side hall, you see you've got lots of shelves for putting things up on. And a couple more chests, so you can thematicize your storage space there. I don't know if that's really a word, but it is now. If we come on downstairs, you'll find we've got some other little sitting places and chests. Down in here we have a harvest zone. We've got a chest there. We've got some various little bits and pieces of harvestables around. So definitely harvest some of that up. And then you can continue down into the caverns here. Now the caverns are another zone of this, so we're going to hang off on that. And we're going to explore the rest of what we've got here. Now of course these are all plants, so they will regrow, which is kind of nice. Gives you a chance to have some replenishable herbs early on, and that's pretty much what everything in this particular room is. Up here you've got an awesome spot to hang your dragon masks, as you find them from the Dragon Priest later in the game, as well as some more display cases for storing some of your cool items. Harvest up some Death Bell there. You'll see you've got a little shortcut thing here to change your stones. So just a little consolidation of things you'll find at some point in the game. And if you've played through before, it's not as important for you to have to find them. And then in here, you literally have a little mini library. Tons of bookshelves here. Which leads to the suspicious cabinet, which we will go into in a moment. And then over here you have every shrine in the game, so that you can snag whatever bonus you want. and books by hideout fans. This is kind of neat. Literally, people just stick books in here. They'll write the books, and then they'll stick them in here. Interesting things to see. And it's kind of neat that they have this. What happens is every time that every time the mod posts an update, he includes any more books that have been left here or sent into him through the mod. And so it's just a bunch of different stories for you to read that have been written by other people who use the mod. So it's really kind of a neat little idea. Gives even more character creativity ability. And there is a book in here somewhere that lets you actually do that. I think it's actually somewhere else in this place that you can find that, but this just exists as a compilation of them all. And then you have this one. There's a amulet here, the Dovahkiin's Recall, which if you do a small little quest, makes it so that you can come back to this location at any time you want. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up, and that'll be useful later on. And over here you see there's an Inkwell. This is where you're ostensibly supposed to do the writing of the book. And as you see, more bookshelves. We come into this little side chamber here, and we find some mannequins. Now, this mannequin is going to become dressed with part of the guard's garb that we picked up when we killed the dragon. And eventually, he will wear the entire Whiterun outfit. Just because I'm a twisted and sadistic person. Excuse me. And so again, we've got some bookshelves and such. We've got our own little enchanting location here with enchanting satchels that we can store whatever ingredients we have that we might want to store there, specifically soul gems as we actually get them filled, which I don't believe I currently have any that are full. No, I don't. Well, I do. I have a petty soul gem, so we'll store that in there. So that gives us that form of laboratory. And then over here we have another one which lets us store alchemy ingredients, which we're actually going to quickly use the alchemy lab just to try combining up what we've got here. Quickly go through it, grab a couple more of the alchemy levels. This again is why I never bother with making alchemy a class skill, because it's really easy to grind up. And by doing this sort of grinding, you learn the things that will work, and thus get more that you can do with it. So there we go, that's done. And we're going to look into the little satchel here, and we're going to store those ingredients. Awesome. A couple more bookshelves and display shelves in here, including elixirs of health. So there's that, and there is another little lockbox there for anything really rare you want to lock up. And then up here, you'll see this is an expert Skyrim door. This actually goes to where the Dovahkiin hideout is actually located in Skyrim. So we're going to quickly do that just so you can see where they've actually located it on the map, and to give ourselves a warp to map marker so we can use this as a hub as well later on in the game. Not to mention, it's apparently going to let me really build up my lockpicking skill a bit. Where this is an expert lock, this could take a little bit. Oh, wait a moment. Oh, really close. Oh, man. Damn. I honestly think I'm jumping to either side of this particular lock. Not even sure how anymore. Oh yeah. There we go. And just like that, here we go. Now you're all going to get to see the outdoors where this actually goes to in the outside world. I'm probably going to be raped by a dragon or something. You know, it's a fairly typical concept. Because I've, obviously with an expert lock there, I've probably gone somewhere I shouldn't be yet, but hey. I can just spin around and run away. Maybe, if I'm lucky. And it's showing me a wonderful little picture there. And there we are. And you'll notice it's actually not that far away from everything. It's actually right along the way in from Riverwood. So it's kind of neat. And you turn around, and there is the door into the Dovahkiin's hideout. So it's just, that way you know where it is on the map. Then if you choose to snag this, you can find it before you even join a specific group and start customizing your own little home there. Of course, with the Hearthfire add-on, it's not really necessary for add-ons like this to be around, but I still like that everything is right in that one spot, pre-made, ready for you, and this works even in vanilla. Like I said, I have none of the expansions for Skyrim. I just have the vanilla game right now. So we come down here, we open the suspicious cabinet, we open the false back panel, and we come down these steps into a place that apparently won't open. So I'm not sure if that's because it leads somewhere I don't have access to, or if it's because I need to do something else to quote-unquote level the area. But we'll have to deal with that later. Really not sure what's up with that. That actually might be for one of the expansion zones. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it before when I used to play back in the day. And you'll also notice that Lydia is lost somewhere. So we're going to come back up. We're going to go back up towards the entry, which is there. And we're going to take the other turn that we didn't take before. And we're going to find that we have a nice little bar. Oh, there you go. This is kind of a neat little place. And it is actually possible for you to start generating NPCs in this area, from what I recall, as you progress through the game. There might even be some NPCs around now, just not exactly sure where they currently are. So then we'll go back up here, and part 2 I will show you the rest in just a moment.